Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. Thank you so much for clicking. In case you're new, you're most welcome. You guys love my background. So today, guess what, we are at the KASUBI Royal Tombs. We are going to be having a lot of history. I've always wanted to come to this place and today is that day. All right, so watch this video from beginning to the end and let's go. Twende. Okay, we start from here.
Yeah.
All right.
So, you are most welcome once again to this place.
Thank you.
Michael is my name, but Michael is just my Christian name. So I prefer to be called Buganda because Buganda is my traditional name.
Yes.
So I come from one of the strongest clans.
Okay.
That's the Buffalo clan.
Yeah.
So which means anyone from the Buffalo, she's my sister. I cannot. So anyone from my mother's clan, she's my mother. I cannot marry her again.
And you cannot eat a buffalo?
Yes. I can't eat the buffalo. I can't marry from the buffalo. I have to protect the buffalo whenever I really see there need to be. I have to protect it.
Yes.
So the kingdom is Buganda. The country is Uganda.
Yeah.
So in Uganda, briefly, we have 5 kingdoms. So from the 5, there's one that we know as the strongest and the most civilized. That's Buganda.
Okay.
However, civilization, it is traced to have started in Buganda, down straight into other parts of the country that we have today. That's why when you come to Uganda, you hear about Buganda only, surprisingly. So then other kingdoms, you now keep on hearing about them, not the way how Buganda is now. So the place is called KASUBI Royal Tombs. However, it used to be called KASUBI Royal Palace because our king was called Kabaka Mutesa I. In the history of Buganda, he was the 30th king of Buganda. So he came into live into this place in 1882 and he first lived into this house. So Kabaka Mutesa I, he was really a busy man, I can call him, because he had really a big family. He had 84 beautiful wives.
84?
Beautiful wives.
Yeah.
With 127 children.
Chosen by parents or he chose?
Oh my God.
You guys. Chosen by parents or is the one who chose?
So the king, he has to choose by himself.
Uh-huh.
Like long ago, they could like organize like a big party. People could come in this much, so they could entertain the king. So the king now is to choose from those. That's how they used to choose.
Okay.
Oh, when they are dancing, the
then
king gets to
he
ask,
makes his choice.
why can't you come here and choose me?
Let me ask, is it still there up to now or it stopped?
So it still really exists, even though we are now trying to be like civilized a little bit, but we still respect our activities that used to like happen long ago. So that's why briefly for me I call Buganda a living testimony, a living kingdom, because whatever used to happen, it still happens. So that's why within Buganda, a place with the cultural values attached, it was selected to be under UNESCO. And this site is under UNESCO, one of the heritage sites in the whole of the country.
Okay.
Only the culture is the only UNESCO site under the cultural institution we have in Uganda. So that's why it's really too rich. When you even just come into it, you see what really happens around it, then you totally become too invested now into the place. So now this house is called Bujabukula.
Bujabukula.
So Bujabukula, it says it's now started now to grow slowly. You know, this kingdom used to be small. It even never qualified to be called a kingdom. It used to be a chiefdom. That when the British came in, they tried now to civilize us a little bit and also make expanding our territories. Not the current.
Or the before.
Because the king who established this place is just the grandfather of the current king. Not the current king.
So I was thinking that the Kabaka now king
Lives there?
is-
No.
Okay.
So that's why we call it a tomb. KASUBI Royal Tomb, not KASUBI Royal Palace.
Oh.
So it used to be called KASUBI Royal Palace.
Okay.
But when our king passed on, he was buried into that house. So now it turned to be KASUBI Royal Tombs.
Okay.
Okay.
So, and in Buganda, our king is ever young. So it's not allowed to be in a place where was bloodshed, there was bad news. So which means he cannot slip into this place.
Even the other side,
Yes,
the
you
palace, you
yes,
cannot sleep
you
there
cannot sleep in.
because of the Idi Amin torture
Because
chambers.
of the 1966 crisis. Because in that crisis, many people lost their lives. The
Exactly.
chiefs,
Yeah.
the royal guards who tried to protect the king. The weapons that they had by then, they were too weak to what the army men had. For them, they had machine guns. For us, we had spears and arrows and shields. So for sure, we had no way of defeating that army. So that's why it ended up almost conquering whatever we had into the palace.
Okay.
So the great thatched houses in the palace were burnt. For those who were still sleeping, they were also burnt in their houses. So many people died in. That's why he cannot spend the night into the place.
Okay.
But he normally goes in for his official duties. But now to this place, he only comes in to pay a visit, to check on the status of the place, and also to go into the house to worship and to pray for his grandfathers now to give him the life.
Okay.
So that's why whenever he comes here, he's no longer king. He's like a prince, because this is not his palace.
Exactly.
So whenever he makes his own palace, that's when he can be called a king.
So when he passes that gate,
Yes.
he's now a prince.
Yes, even the way there's someone who, with this place also, it really has its own prime minister. The prime minister of this place.
Oh.
So he has the responsibility of now introducing that king to his grandfathers.
So the prime minister is the one to take him to the grandfathers.
Good. So now this house was now preserved now to be for the royal guards, and we have two guards now coming from different clans. So while we have one who is coming from the mushroom clan, and the head of the royal guards, and it's called Molamba. This is his office.
The office of
Yeah.
Molamba.
So we have one, the deputy of the head, and it's called Insigo. He has to be that side.
Nsigo. This
But
is the
now
office.
Insigo I'm talking about. At the entrance, I think you saw an old man.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
I've seen, yeah.
yes,
I was
He's
thinking
there
it's the
out.
king.
yes.
He's not a king. He's the deputy of the chief guard.
Okay.
But he's coming from the Buffalo clan, like me. So which means he's now serving as a guard. And he came in to serve when he was 16 years. So this year is making 100 years. So which means he has served as a guard for like 84 years into this place.
84 years.
So he's
guard.
still strong, because in early in the morning and in the evening he has to open up the doors of this house and also the doors of the other house. So when I talk about the door, so the door is not metallic. So this is the door. This is the door.
Okay.
He has to slide it to close here.
To close
So
the
whenever he closes here, even though I have the power, I'm not allowed to slide it back.
It's only him who is
It's
allowed.
only him. Because even before opening up, there's some spiritual words or prayers that he need to pray
Okay.
before opening or before
Wow.
closing.
Okay.
We believe whenever maybe you open it by yourself, so maybe they will be like being lucky to you, but again, all of a sudden, it becomes really bad for you because you have tried now to almost do someone's work. So that's why the work in Buganda, we totally respect such things. Once you know you're not from that clan, that's not your role, you're not supposed to do it. So the house is really made of grass.
Yeah.
So that's why outside, even though it is hot, shining like nothing, like hell, inside this house is cool. But we don't have any AC, we don't have any fan in it because of the natural materials we used for the construction of this house.
Looks very strong. How long has it stayed?
So it has stayed since 1882 to date.
And it still looks good like this. Wow.
And the original rings since 1882, the black rings.
Oh.
So those are really too significant into this house. Even though maybe we are reconstructing it or renovating, so we have to ensure that now they don't fall off.
Okay.
black ones.
Yes. The moment they fall off, it means we shall now pause the work and now go and report ourselves to the king then the king has to come by himself. He has to stitch them back by himself. So there's some culture practices that he needs to perform now for him to stitch them back.
Okay. Wow. I'm learning a lot.
Some people, they have culture. Yes.
We'll first go to this house.
Okay.
So now this is another important and cultural house. So this house is called the drum house. So which means in it we have drums. So which means the drums, they need to be with the chief drummer. So the drummer has to be coming from the Pangolin clan. So in our language we call it Olugave. The Pangolin clan.
Olugave.
That's how we call it in our language. But now a drum in Uganda, it used to be one of the most significant communication medias we had. So the time when the palace was attacked, the chief drummer could drum differently. So now people could come in to rescue the place. So whenever someone died, someone important in the community died, they used to drum differently still to alert the community that we have lost someone important in the community, and they used to show up for a funeral. So whenever the king wanted to meet us as the Buganda people by then, he used to drum and we used to show up for such culture meetings.
Okay.
So whenever the king wanted to be entertained, he could drum and people could come dressed smart with their dance wares to entertain them. So that's now the drum now used to govern us. So we also have a drum that they used to sound in the morning to show us now time for work. You wake up, you go and work. They drum it in the evening, time for work is over. And that drum is called Bantade.
Bantade.
Yes.
Bantade.
Yes. We have another drum called Kanaba. It has to be drummed when we have lost someone important here. So we have another drum called Mijaguzo. It has to be drummed whenever maybe a king comes in. People from the royal family, when they come in, it has to be drummed. To allow the community that now someone important from the royal family is in the place.
They drum it and other people here in the other community.
Yes.
Oh, it's loud like that.
It's not it may not be loud as such, but on hills we also used to have other drummers.
Okay.
So whenever this could now drum,
The other one?
even also they could drum to extend the communication.
Okay.
So, the nearby
So like
communities.
their timing, they said this time we are going to.
Yes. Whenever they could hear this, and this used to be like the center of communication. Whenever they had a specific sound, they could first listen to it, then they make the same sound, extending the sound
Okay.
other nearby communities.
It's a way of communication.
But now this man, the chief drummer, the moment he's being appointed to be the chief drummer, he has to live what we call a celibate life. Not having affairs with a wife or a lady. Yes.
Why?
I don't understand.
Maybe you explain to us.
Situation. I don't
So
understand.
the moment you're being appointed the role of being the chief drummer, you are not allowed to engage yourself in what we call sex intercourse. Because you won't be able to have that energy to make it. So the moment you're being chosen, there are some practices they work on you
Okay.
that totally makes you to be weak and lose out your feelings for the rest of your life.
Too bad. I feel sorry.
No. No.
No enjoyment.
Can you allow that for you?
I cannot.
Also for me, I cannot.
You cannot? So which means you cannot live. You cannot live without.
I cannot live without that. Oh my God. Oh no.
So that's why in this house, ladies are not allowed to go in.
Ah.
Yes,
Okay.
you can't go in, but men can go.
Okay. So for us, we shall stop here.
And why should I go in when you're not still going?
But we can peep, eh?
You can peep in and see.
Okay, now I can see the drums.
Yeah, the drums.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. All right. Hope you guys are learning something. This is so interesting.
That one is a no go. But for me, I think about that one. Let's proceed.
So now this is the royal compound of this place. And in this compound we normally see different houses around. Some used to be houses for the special wives of the king. You know, I had many wives. So in total he had 84.
Yeah.
But now from the 84 he also had now to keep on selecting some special ones. So like for someone to be special or to be made a special wife, you could maybe like having something special, like a gift. You were gifted with something. Like you're really good in entertaining the king, a comedian. You also have a gift of making local medicines. But in case of an emergency, a king could now be cured just without with few minutes it's now okay. Some used to like get possessed with our spiritual things. So they could now talk on behalf of those now. So they could alert us, whatever may be, like something harmful going to happen in the future, so we could stop it. Some used to be good interpreting dreams. So we have dreams, but we don't know the meaning of some dreams. So you dream maybe the cow is chasing you, you go to her, then she explains. So it's chasing you in the dream because there's black magic behind you.
Okay.
Someone trying to take off almost your luck out of you. So you need to stop it through bathing this medicine, so and so. It also made that person to be unique and gifted. Such things. So you really made them houses around. So now I used to be into, but again with special wives.
Okay.
We also have the fireplace. That is a fireplace.
Which one? This
That
one?
Yes.
This one, eh?
So it's a fireplace. To all the palaces, even at the palace, King's Palace,
Yes.
there was a fireplace.
Yes.
It was burning, right? But now for this fireplace, right now it's not burning, but it has to be burning. So right now it's not all that too cold, because we normally believe even though our kings passed on, they also inside the house. Sometimes they may even tend to be feeling cold. So that's why some spiritually we think they come and warm up around the fireplace. So whenever we see it's too cold, we make the fire, and there's a specific person who has to make it safe, not everyone.
Okay.
To make the fire, then they come and warm up.
Okay.
Then after they go back into the big house. So the house that you see is not the original house since 1882. So in the history of Uganda, we heard about the 2010 16th March fire outbreak. So when it caught fire, we lost many artifacts in it because by then we had no firefighting equipment. But today we are just ready. In case of any fire, we can easily stop it.
Okay.
So it has really costed us a lot because it's not easy. It's not cheap to get these materials back. So where our ancestors long used to get them, today we have like industries or factories. So we normally get them from very far from here. And even the people who are supposed to make it, the talented ones, they're really expensive still. That's why you're going to be too amazed to see the interior, how they made it.
Wow.
So it has really taken us some good years, since 2013. That's when we started to construct it back until today. As I speak now, the work is almost 95% done.
Okay.
Only the 5% left.
So we are allowed to enter.
Yeah.
Actually, even the way it smells different.
So we remove the shoes.
Yes, you have to remove the shoes.
We'll put them. Okay. Okay.
So here we are removing the shoes.
Abasimbiri naye bo be bagenzi abawenda n'abasimbiri fenna abakyayina be bakusobola
Balibu. Simu naye ekyanga.
nakumye kali kyayange tamanyi kintu.
Hey,
Jebaleko.
kale nyabo nawe gyebaleko
Kale.
oli otya eyo
Oh.
Ndi bulungi.
Bulungi.
ovaawa
Kenya.
Kenya.
ayo kikuyu
Ama Meru.
Meru.
Mulima, watu wa mulima.
mulima
Yes.
kale webale kuvaayo
Kale.
kenya mulungi
Kenya bulungi nnyo.
amarigomeka amarigomeka nogama amenvu
Simanyi.
bogoya
The bananas.
the bananas
Oh, eh. Have you eaten a lot
kikuyu
of
side
matoke?
amarigomeka
Kikuyu.
They have. Even us, we have a lot.
You have a lot. Oh, you are lucky to have many.
Hey.
Wow, ono Muganda.
era ddunanga
Eradde nnyo. Kale nnyo. Ayo gyebale.
kale nyama
Bale manyi naye gundi. Ono tasobola kugeya. So, you are most welcome once again to the Holy House.
Thank you.
So, the house is called Musibo Zala Mpanga. It means a king begets a king. If you're a king, you're supposed to give birth to a king. That's the meaning of the house. So, established in 1882 by a king known as Kabaka, Walugembe, Mukabya, Mutesa, the first. So he had long names and was called Mutesa because he was the first in kind of our kings in Buganda to at least try to negotiate with the locals. Because Mutesa, it comes from Okutesa, so which means to negotiate.
Negotiate.
Kings long ago never used to negotiate. They used to make their own decisions without negotiating with local chiefs. But now for him, since he wanted now to at least govern with the power of people, so he had now to be calling upon all the chiefs to at least get involved in decision making and also coming up with new systems of administration into the Buganda community. So the one I'm talking about is the one there.
This one.
The
King was called Kabaka Mutesa I, and the co-founder of this house.
okay.
So he did many things for the good, for the will, for the good of the kingdom, for the good of the country. So that's why with this place, the whole of the country, when you don't come to this place, so we normally say maybe it was not a visit for you in the country. Know that when we come to this place. So we had now take off our shoes because it's a worshipping place. It is an important place. It is the worshiping place still for us, the people. So we, before having Islam, before having Christianity, so we had our own African traditional religion, in what we call the African Traditional Societies, the ATS. So we had our own religion, and this is our religion. We kneeling before our kings, or anywhere you pray to the spirits we have in Buganda. We have many spirits, and normally they come from the kings we had first, upon the existence of the kingdom. So this year the kingdom is likely to make 802 years now.
802 years.
Yeah, to be the age of the kingdom. So ancestral of 100 to date. So for all that long, we have been lucky to only have 36 kings. So the current king is the 36th king of Buganda. So it is now, we have lived in two dynasties. We had a dynasty of Tonga and a dynasty of Kingdom. But in the dynasty of Tonga, we normally believe there could no be any way on how the kingdom could exist without being created. So creation was the first. That's why we normally say the first king was Tonda, because of the creation. Then after Tonda, we also had now to go what we call the Kintu dynasty. In schools, they don't talk about Kintu as the first king. But it's not right. Tonda was the first. So there's no way Kintu could exist without being created. So he could not be there in space without having anywhere to be. So which means you have to be created first, and also what you're supposed to be with also to be created. Then you come here. As you may like construct like a kraal for the cows to be. So there's no way how you can now first buy the cow without having where you can keep it safe. You have to first make it the kraal, then finally you purchase it, then you make it be the kraal for proper management. That's how creation and the world is to the place. So Kabaka Mutesa I, we normally call him the Messiah of Uganda, the Messiah of Buganda, because without him, maybe even today, we would have faced the challenge of democracy. Our ancestors were wise in cultural things. Because of the regime, they were considered to be the wise people by then. But again, they also had challenges. To date, we went to schools. We still have challenges, which means to each and every generation there has to be changes, like challenges. So for them, they used to trade with Arabs. But again, whatever they used to get in exchange, it was too small to what they had to get. He was a man of his words. He was really an intelligent king.
Okay.
Educated, yeah?
Why did he put on that thing on the head?
Sorry?
Why does he have
So
something
he was
different?
putting on that because he was really motivated by the way how he used to see the Arabs.
Oh,
He was a Muslim.
okay.
But now when he was taken into exile, the time when he refused to work with the British, because the same king who tried to resist British rule in Uganda. So that's why he had to combine his powers and forces with one of our sister kingdoms, that's Punyoro. By then was under Kabalega. So the two had not joined forces together to fight against British. Finally, the two were captured, taken to exile. So they were taken out of Buganda, taken far to the Seychelles Island in the Indian Ocean. So he had left us with his young prince.
Daudi Chwa.
So Daudi Chwa, he was really young at the time when he was the king. He was 1 year and 1 month. So that's why we had now to get some chiefs that used to be there under the regime of his father, starting from the prime minister of his father, who was Sir Kagwa. We had Sanlas Mugwanya, we had Zakara Chisengeri, we had Inubombogo. So those are now considered to be the regents of Buganda kingdom. So to be on behalf of the young king, because he never knew anything concerning with our culture, with our norms, our ways of being. At least for them, they knew. They're just old enough to know all about Buganda. So even though he was young, he was really motivated by his uncle. He was called Stanley Kisingili. So he taught him almost in his free time to read books, because he used to get books from the British and he could read. But good enough, through reading the books, actually the books now enlightened him. They showed him, but this is not the last place to be. There are still other continents and other areas that he needs to go and explore. So that's why he was the first king to explore or to go to Europe. So when he went in Europe, he introduced many things in Uganda. Cows long ago, the ladies, you never used to go to school. He was in Europe, he saw girls having bags at the back, going to school. He saw ladies becoming leaders. In Buganda, only men could become leaders. Women could stay home. Part of like the family member of the family head, a man, and also the head of the community has to be a man. It's not a lady. So in Europe, he saw ladies also becoming leaders. He totally got motivated by that. He brought in, introduced the girl child education system in Uganda. That's why today girls go to school, they compete with boys, then finally we get leaders and professionals. And the first doctor in Uganda, he was coming from this kingdom, the lady. So from that he also introduced cotton growing, in Uganda, introduced coffee growing in Uganda, introduced church marriage in Uganda, and was the first to have the church marriage. So the title Nabagereka started on this region.
Okay.
Nabagereka. That's how the official queen. Nabagereka.
Nabagereka.
That's how we normally call the official queen of the king. So there's need for me to say the official.
Yeah.
That's now the church wedding queen. And he
The
was the
others,
first.
because he has many. The others, they are called what?
Queens without official.
But she's the one who is married.
Yes.
The
Officially.
other ones,
Officially.
they are not married. But
They are married, no, but not officially. Like
They're
in
not
church.
official in church.
But as you know, with Christianity, Christianity entitles you to get only one man, one woman. But culturally, it's also allowing you to have many. So that's why in Buganda, it's really, culture is still vital and crucial and important. That's why we have two names. You have to be the culture name and Christian.
Christian name.
yes.
That's what the first I said. Michael is my Christian name, then Bogembe is my traditional name.
Yeah.
So you have to be separate from other objects like a stone. A cup has to be with only one name, cup. So it can be only Michael.
Yeah.
So I have to be with a lineage name or a culture name. That at least can explain why today I'm really existing or living today. So the same king Davudichwa, he officially allowed you women to start eating chicken and eggs. So you never used to eat it. So the chicken in Uganda, we used it as
Women.
Women are getting problem in this kingdom.
But I thank God now we can eat chicken. We were missing chicken.
because we used to say you a girl and you want to eat chicken. So they could pose questions to you. Do you wish to get married? You say yes. And they could ask you, so when you eat the chicken and eggs, so where are you going to get another bride price? Because the chicken and eggs, it used to be our bride price, even still today. So the moment you used to eat your own bride price, they used to tell you, you have already eaten your bride price.
There's no need of
So there's
paying.
no need for paying anything. So that's why they were like, if you want to get married, don't eat. Then after getting married, still, when you want to have children, don't eat chicken, because when you eat, you feel difficulties giving back. So he was in Europe, he saw girls eating chicken. He thought maybe one could collapse and die. No one was collapsing. It was really too personal. Okay, maybe today was not a good day for me to see that. The following day, the same girl that ate chicken, she got married. She ate chicken and now she's getting married. Okay. So now finally, she also gave birth. So it really posed him that finally made him now to make more research about it. So now the doctors told him it is too healthy for someone to eat an egg and chicken, because it really adds on the protein content of the person. That's why he officially introduced it in Buganda. And now our fathers were punished. At first, you used to eat the chicken, eggs, and beef alone. But since we are now being allowed to officially eat it, allow us to eat it for 9 months without giving the chicken and eggs to you. Like a punishment, like a way of revenging now. So our fathers had now to be totally stressed with it, because you know how delicious the chicken is. So the dish that they used to bring to you, really full of chicken, they now bring it full of vegetables, dodo and other stuff, and greens. And our mothers could eat it alone. Then since the king really wanted his people now to be working together, he tried to harmonize them. So he finally introduced something good for all of us, or us, the Buganda people. That was football. So he introduced football in Uganda. So that's why today in Buganda we have what we call the county tournament and the clan tournament. At the start of the tournaments, our king has to be the first to kick the ball to the net. So whenever you put on your playing boots and jersey, you have to kick the ball to the net. The way how the king did it. So he became the first FOFA president of Uganda. I normally say FOFA because where I saw the football, so they have an association which is FIFA, Federation of International Football Association. It was like, since we are not coming from that side, let us eliminate the I, we put in the U, because of Uganda.
Even it's on the jerseys.
Yeah,
FOFA.
I have that.
That's how FOFA now came in. Yeah. So in 1939, our king passed on of diabetes. In Uganda, we have 53 tribes. So each tribe is being associated with its own behaviors. Me, since I'm a Muganda, I cannot behave the same way how someone from another, like from the West, is behaving. Yes.
Now who got the freedom of this country?
Buganda King.
The Buganda Kingdom. Yeah.
That's
So
why
your
it's the-
nationality, the
So even the
national,
name.
I'm
Buganda.
talking about the language.
Yeah, the language is
supposed to
Luganda.
Luganda.
That's the language we
You
speak.
get now, eh?
So the country is called Uganda, the kingdom is called Buganda, but it's not the only kingdom, as I explained that first.
Yeah.
So we still have other kingdoms, we still have other tribes into the country settings. But now the kings that we have to date in Uganda, they are the reasons as to why to date we have a president. So the president is there because of the kingdom still. So the two supported each other in a different way. So after the palace was attacked, Obote, he was coming from the north. He never wanted to interfere, to work with any other kingdom. So that's why he made Uganda become a republic in 1967. So as you know, with the Republican governments, so there's no need for kingdoms and chiefs. So he was in love of governing Uganda as a neutral state without kingdoms. So since he abolished it, we had someone who struggled for some good years to become a president, but it was not working out well. That was the current president. Not until when he came to seek for support in the 1986 Gorilla War, that we all the kingdom supported him after he had promised to give us something good as kingdoms. That was to reinstate the kingdoms back. That really finally happened in 1993. That's when the kingdoms are reinstated back by the current president of Uganda.
Yeah.
So the
Now,
kingdoms,
they are 7 now.
yes, so the kingdoms had spent like 27 years without existing. That's why to date, a king cannot conflict with the president because they all know the lines they're not supposed to cross. So the president cannot cross the line of culture within Buganda. He cannot. So the king cannot cross the line of politics to go that side. He's just a ceremonial figure within his own kingdom. But he has a right to advise. They all have rights to advise.
Oh, these are not like
Because
the
you
real
cannot get
graves.
a chance to go and see behind the curtain. What is behind the curtain? You cannot go that side.
Okay.
Only selected important people. The few selected and important people can go behind.
And the wives.
The wives still, yeah.
Okay.
Of those specific kings.
Okay.
So the house that you see still, the decorations like an overturned basket. The
Mm.
ceiling.
Mm.
Each ring is of a different clan.
Okay.
Okay. So when I count from here,
Now
they
I
go to
know.
56.
Okay, I was
They
going
are
to
You
wonder.
start from the small one because when you're making this basket, you have to start with the foundation, the middle ring, the small ring.
For
Uh-huh.
Buganda.
Now
The small one is for Buganda.
it's Buganda
It's
kingdom.
Buganda kingdom.
The clans I'm talking about, they're not tribes. They are not tribes.
They are clans.
They are clans within Buganda. As I said, like buffalo, there's one coming from the antelope, one from
Others.
cow.
There is one thing I want to understand.
Mhm.
You said this one they are standing for what? For clans?
For clans, not
Clans,
tribes.
not tribes.
Oh, not tribes. Oh. Okay, because I've seen those plants there when you're going to the Kabaka.
As you're going to the
Yeah.
palace,
Yeah.
those
The
sculptures.
alongside
So
They
you have
represent
like how many
clans.
clans now? 56. So if I count this one up to the end, it's
you
56.
count.
Ah.
You guys.
So even these poles.
Okay.
So we use grass for making them out. That's why it's really able to make the house to be cool, not hot. When it is raining, when it's really hot outside,
It's cool.
so the rain doesn't go through because the grass we use for thatching, when it's dried, it really acts like too slippery. The rain drops just splashes off, doesn't lag in.
I have another question. So these queens,
Yes.
they are going to stay there without eating, or they will eat?
They eat.
They
They go
eat.
out. They eat.
Or they go out to eat and then come back and...
Yeah, until when they complete a full month,
Oh,
like a term.
okay.
As you can send your kids to school, like first terms for like 3 months, and after 3 months they send them back home. Then after they go back to school, the same thing happened again.
Then other people also come. The other
Yes.
queens also come.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
So we are seated near the queen.
We are
And
blessed.
good
Eh?
enough, you're also queens.
Yes. See how we are dressed, you guys. See.
And they are covering with this from the trees.
cloth. In Kenya, you have this, and it's called from a tree called mugumo.
Mugumo,
And mugumo, by the Kikuyu, it's something too special. It's a sacred
yeah.
tree in
For us, it's
Kikuyu
as,
community. But for us, it's the first cloth that we had. Even though we are lucky, we never used to move naked as the Buganda people. We got the chance of not moving naked. Firstly, before having the idea of making this cloth, we used to put on the animal skins. After hunting, you put on the animal skin.
Yeah, like us.
Yeah, then after, since they were herbalists, they loved more making research. So they believed that every tree planted in the community, it was medicine.
Okay.
So that's why they used to peel off the skins of the trees, beating them out to soften them, then to boil them. So when they were melting the skin, they expect the skin of the tree just to splash off, like to break out. But surprisingly, it's stretched 5 times the original size. Then finally let it in the sun. It's dried. The more it kept on drying, the more it used to change on the color. Now to this original color. So to date, it's now being of a multi-purpose function, you can call it. Mercedes-Benz Company in German, they're now making car cushions and seat covers out of it.
Yes,
Yeah.
from Mugumo tree.
Yes, from Gumo back. Adidas is making shoes out of it.
Yeah.
Puma, Umbro, they're all making shoes out of it. Some are also using it like a mosquito repellent. When you get a skin of it, a small cloth, you burn it, the white smoke that comes out it, chase out mosquitoes into your house for like 2 months without seeing any mosquitoes in the house. Yeah. So the poles still are also 56. The poles are 40.
Oh, they are 56 also. 4 big poles.
And also behind the curtain are still other poles.
Okay. No.
So in case maybe you have a special wish, special prayer you need to send, you can kneel before the baskets, you pray, then you have small something to offer in. This is our church traditionally. And the more you believe in something, something happens.
Wow.
When you believe in it, you give it at least a chance to believe in it. So when that thing really happens in your life, like whatever you wish to happens, then now you come in to offer like a thanksgiving to them.
It is just like giving a Thanksgiving or a tithe in church.
Tithe in
yes.
church.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So there are 4 baskets, and the same baskets also they normally motivate these people, these wives.
Exactly.
nange nkulaba oba saawa zino singa wagambye lidde ettooka nelituulayo
Alright guys, actually this should be the end of this video. If you've watched this video from beginning to the end, thank you. But I'll be ending it from here. See you in the next one.